everyone! So, for my lab report, I decided to investigate the effects that biological sex and weekly exercise duration have on heart rate, which can be an indication of cardiovascular health. So, my first independent variable was biological sex, and I wanted to know whether or not there is any difference in resting heart rate between the genders. And it's known that on average, female hearts are smaller than male hearts. So, as a result, female hearts have to beat faster to match male cardiovascular efficiency. So, as a result, I predicted that it was likely that women will have higher resting heart rates than men will. And my second independent variable was weekly exercise duration, so I wanted to know whether or not people who exercise regularly have lower resting heart rates than those who do not. And it's known that exercising helps strengthen heart tissue and increase heart efficiency, so I predicted that individuals who exercise frequently should have lower resting heart rates. So, for my first analysis, I conducted a t-test and found a significant difference in average resting heart rate between the two sexes. Average female resting heart rate was 74.5 beats per minute, while average male resting heart rate was 71.3 beats per minute. So, in this population, female hearts beat about 3 more times per minute than male hearts did. For my second analysis, I conducted a linear regression and found a significant difference in heart rate dependent on average weekly exercise duration. Those who exercise more tended to have lower heart rates, which is supported by the findings from a lot of previous research. However, the low R-squared value indicated that only a small percentage of the differences in resting heart rate could be attributed solely to weekly exercise duration. From the analyses I ran, I came to a few conclusions. Firstly, I can conclude that, on average, women tend to have higher heart rates than men, but it cannot be assumed that anatomical differences are the sole factor causing the variation. There are a lot of potential biological differences between the sexes, but I was also thinking that there may be lifestyle differences between men and women that contribute to the variation in heart rate, like average caffeine consumption, diet, and exercise frequency. I found a study that reviewed the sex differences in heart rate, and it was mentioned that sex hormones like estrogen and testosterone may also play a role in producing sex-based cardiovascular differences. Because estrogen is a predominant female sex hormone and testosterone is a predominant male sex hormone, it is possible that they have different effects on cardiovascular efficiency and output and lead to heart rate differences. I can also conclude that there is a correlation between weekly exercise duration and resting heart rate. As I mentioned previously, it cannot be assumed that exercise is the sole factor decreasing heart rate, but it is probably rather an aggregate of healthy lifestyle choices coming into play. Someone who exercises regularly may be more likely to sleep longer, eat healthier, and take in less caffeine, so all of these factors could come together along with exercise to decrease overall resting heart rate. Extraneous factors aside, there is plenty of strong evidence suggesting that regular exercise is a very large factor in decreasing resting heart rate. A study by Ramers, Knapp, and Ramers found that exercise decreased resting heart rate in both genders, which is very notable. So, as we can see, there are various factors that influence cardiovascular health and efficiency. Some of these factors are predetermined and out of our control, such as biological sex, yet some of them reflect the voluntary lifestyle choices we make each day to exercise, eat healthy, and limit excessive caffeine consumption. One of the greatest conclusions I can draw from my analyses is that there is often not a sole factor that influences heart rate, but rather an aggregate of various biological factors and lifestyle choices with varying levels of cardiac influence. And these are just my references for the studies that I used in my presentation. Thanks for watching.